Okay, so I somehow made this mistake again where I didn't catch that Camtasia uploaded the wrong video. I mean, it has the video in the dock that it's uploading, and then I just didn't check YouTube to see that it actually uploaded the right video. I don't know why Camtasia is doing that. I don't know why I don't check it better, but I didn't check it for this one. Okay, so if you look in the secant lines in Manum 3, that was originally after the video that I'm trying to make now. So it's going to look a little bit different. So if you are watching this and then you watch secant lines in Manum 3, there's going to be some discontinuity between what you see there and what I have written right here. Like there's not a for loop here, and there is in that video. But just forget about that. We're not going to be doing anything with this video. Well, with this thing in the video now. Because what I want to talk about is I want to talk about how we can do this thing called value trackers and updaters. Value trackers essentially are one way to think about value trackers is it is kind of an automatic for loop, and it's a for loop that has a lot of features. It sort of will do things more smoothly in a sense, like animation wise, than the for loop we were doing before, which we kind of hand coded. And there's a bunch of different other options, different things that it can do as well. So basically what I want to do now is I just want to, so I have this del x and the del x. Basically up here, I just want to have the del x running from 1.1 down to basically 0, just so I can show you how to use this value tracker. Not necessarily because I want to have it there. I'm just using it as a way to illustrate value trackers and updaters. So the first thing I'm going to introduce is a value tracker. So I'm going to say tracker, that's the name of it. It's going to be value tracker, and I'm going to start it at del x. Okay, so again, tracker is a so value tracker is a mathematical object. If we look at its documentation here, there's a lot of different things that it can do. But one of the main attributes it has is its animation attribute, which is going to tell us how it's going to animate. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to animate the tracker, which means the value of the tracker is going to change, and that's going to change the writing that we have up here. Okay, so next I want to add the number. So number is going to be a mathematical object. It's going to be a decimal. It's going to be a decimal number. Del x dot to edge upper right, and now I'm just going to do dot add number. Okay, and all that's going to happen here is that number is going to be added to the right hand corner, and nothing is changing. It's just going to say 1.1. Okay, nothing exciting there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do something that's not going to work at first, but I just want to show you what the syntax is. So I'm going to do self.play, and I'm going to do tracker.animate, and I want to say when it's going to go down to a certain point. It's going to go down to del x. Okay, so right now it's set, the value for tracker is whatever del x is. And I wanted to go down to 0.05. And I can also state a runtime. I can also set a runtime. Let's say I want the runtime to be equal to 4. Okay, so I'm going to have this. Now what is happening when it runs this, the value for tracker is changing. Okay, the value for tracker is changing. So if I put this right here, number tracker dot get value. Okay, so right now, so tracker is equal to del x, which is 1.1. Number is equal to decimal number, tracker.getValue. The value for number is going to be 1.1. And when I add it here, it's going to be 1.1. And now what's happening here is the value of tracker is being decremented from 1.1 all the way down to 0.05, which is this del x. Okay, but we haven't told Manum that we want it to update the number. So if we oh, sorry, this is animate.setValue. Okay, so what's going to happen is the tracker is going to go from 1.1 down to del x, but we're not telling Manum we want to update the value of number here, so that's just going to stay what it is. So to change that, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do number. So all mathematical objects have this updater or add updater function. So I'm going to do add updater. Okay, and what you put here, it's going to be a function that takes a mathematical object as a parameter and then does something on that mathematical object. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to update the value of number. Number is the mathematical object I want to take in. I want to update the value of number. So I'm going to do def. I'm going to change this in a second. So I'm going to do my update. It's going to take in a mathematical object. I'm going to do m.set value tracker dot get value, and then it's not going to return anything. And so right here I'm going to write my update. Okay, so what's going to happen every single time excuse me, every single time Manum draws a new frame, it's going to apply this function to this mathematical object. In other words, it's going to do number.setValue tracker.getValue. So it's going to set the value of number to tracker.getValue. So now when I run this, assuming I've done everything correctly, the number in the right hand corner should start at 1.1 and go all the way down to 0. Okay, and it does. Very good. Now one thing that's more convenient than what we have here, the only place we're calling this function is right here. Like no other parts of the code are using this function. So I can use what's called an inline function. And the syntax is lambda. That tells us we're doing an inline function, essentially. We're going to put the argument there, which is m. If there's 2 arguments, we'd put an m and an n maybe, or if there's no arguments, we won't put anything. We'll see that in upcoming videos. Lambda m dot set value, and then it's going to be tracker dot get value. Okay, so having this function defined here and then my update or having this are the same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to run this code again just to make sure we get what we want. And I want you to pay attention to how the numbers count. Notice how they go slow to begin with, and then they go fast, and then they slow down again. Okay, well we can actually change that in the self.play thing. We can actually, there's actually a parameter called rate function. So I'm going to do rate function equals linear, and this is going to be the same speed the whole time. Okay, and whether you want it like this or not is up to you. There are a whole bunch of different rate functions here that we'll look at in upcoming videos. Just they're there. You can look at different things. So you have something like this. So I can even do, there's even a weird one, wiggle. So you have something like this. So if I do wiggle, let's see what happens. So I think it should increase and decrease, increase, decrease, increase, decrease. If you look at the wiggle, where is it? Where did it go now? Oh, right here. So it should go up, then down, and up again. Okay, so let's see if that's what's happening. So yeah, so it's doing something weird, right? So 1.0, so going down, then kind of going back up, and then going back down again. Okay, so whatever you want to do, there's different rate functions. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're basically going to add an updater to these slopes things. Now the hard part about that is that like slopes is not a mathematical object, it's a V group. We don't have something that's a very good mathematical object like we do up here. And actually I kind of have this function here, always redraw. This is what we're going to use. And so always redraw is sort of a utility function in Manum that basically applies this always or this add updater to us, add updater for us automatically. But we're going to see more about that in the upcoming video.